quickly talk about Diageo, which is a UK-listed entity. It owns brands like Johnnie Walker, so it's huge in whiskey. Also things like Smirnoff, so it's like the number 1 or number 2 player in all of those booze categories. It's a company that came from the merger of Grand Metropolitan and Distillers. So they also make Guinness. Did I point that out?
Yeah.
So this is a big global player. Market capitalization, if you put it in dollars, is $71.2 billion. So not as big as AB InBev, but still a rather large global titan. Price earnings ratio 21.71, dividend yield of 3.35%. Let's go straight to the graph because that will show you a bit of a sideways to downish performance. It looks quite good, and of course it also owns 34% of Moët and Hennessy, so it's also big in champagne. It's like a big multi-branded giant in the liquor business.
Look, it's a fantastic company. It's got wide, diverse earnings, but they've had a tough time. I mean, 2016 is better than 2015, but even then, margin growth of volume growth of 1%, earnings growth of 1%.
And a little bit soft, and it's got quite a big European footprint as well.
And it's got a big African footprint. I mean, there's more Guinness sold in Nigeria than in Ireland. And of course, you
and a lot of champagne sold in Nigeria too.
You report in Nigerian currency back to your European base, you take pain. So all of the emerging markets, it's taken and they've actually had tough times here. They've had to put in new management a year or two ago. They made a massive acquisition in India, and it's all, if everything I read about it says they heavily overpaid.
Interesting, India, because there are people in India who don't drink at all. But there's actually a huge market, so obviously it looked attractive enough.
But they seem to have overpaid on that. The one thing going in their favor is whiskey over the last 2 years or so has come back into fashion. Because whiskey volumes were down. I mean, last year, Johnnie Walker, the year before, Johnnie Walkers were down 7% volume terms, whereas they got about 2 or 3% volume growth this last time. So the fashion does change. You know, it'll go from wine to whiskey to whatever.
Yes, and you're saying whiskey's on the up and up
Whiskey's on the up and up, so that's
of course,
good for them.
In addition to Johnnie Walker, which is just enormous, they also own J&B, Bells, and then they've got things like Lagavulin and so on, which are
they've
in
got
that
Captain
sort of
Morgan. Captain Morgan's also had a tough volume time.
Captain Morgan is rum, though, not whiskey.
Yeah, that's rum, but they've also
had a tough time. I'm not exactly very experienced.
Neither am I, but their big ones is Johnnie Walker, J&B, Guinness, and Captain Morgan. So those are the big
Smirnoff. Smirnoff must be huge. And then even in gin, they own Gordon's and Tanqueray.
Tanqueray's done.
In tequila, they own something called Don Julio.
No, I wouldn't
even
that. But the Tanqueray,
there's probably somebody sitting at home jumping up and
having
down.
one of them. The Tanqueray has actually done very, very well. Probably their best brand or their strongest growth brand.
Okay, but hot or not, because if you went globally and you saw a share chart like that, you can see perhaps there's been a bit of earnings disappointment. There isn't an obvious catalyst to suggest it's about to catch fire.
I agree. Although the P is not bad, but I would still go not hot on this one.
Okay, so let's avoid not hot. Okay.